Hi everyone, good afternoon. My name is Mandy Arsenault and I am the Marketing Communications Manager for the College of Education and Human Development. This is a major discussion of the Nutrition, Hospitality, and Human Services Department. The goal today is to answer any questions that students may have as it relates to being a family studies or a fashion merchandising student. Today we are joined by our expert faculty. From Family Studies, we have Dr. Wallet, and from Fashion Merchandising, we have Dr. Kimmons. So let's go ahead and get started. Dr. Wallet, we'll start with you. If you don't mind telling us a little bit about who you are, what your role is in the college, and a little bit more about Family Studies.
Hey, I'd love to. My name is Dr. Kim Wallet, and I am the Program Director and Advisor for the Family Studies program. This is one program that's part of the Department of Nutrition and Hospitality and Human Services. That includes nutrition, hospitality, fashion merchandising, family studies, and also family consumer science teacher certification. A little bit of my background in terms of education. I have my bachelor's degree from Central Michigan University in psychology with minors in sociology and family life and human sexuality. All proved wonderful background for myself, but I took a special interest in the family life and human sexuality. So from there, I went to Michigan State University, where I received my master's degree in family studies. And then from there, went to Kansas State University, where my degree is in family life education and consultation. So I want to tell you more about the Family Studies program. And part of that, I want to help make everyone aware of typical jobs that are related to this major. There are two main paths. One is through to be employed with community-based organizations. So this prepares our graduates for direct entry into child advocacy and youth development, resource services for adults and families, or programs designed to meet the physical, social, emotional, and creative needs of the late adulthood years. A second main path is marriage and family counseling. So the Family Studies program provides a solid foundation for readiness for application to marriage and family therapy master's program. That path is available right within our College of Education and Human Development at Lamar University. Other family intervention careers include case management and crisis intervention, as well as education through careers such as working with cooperative extension or parent education. Family policy is another route. For example, military family support services and advocacy. And another direction, one of many that graduates can take, is family health and wellness. And that can include a career path in sexuality education, marriage, and relationship programs. Okay, also a little bit about what the course of study would look like. In the first year of study, along with Lamar's academic core, the program does have its students enrolled in courses such as Intimate Relationships, which is a really great survey course. It begins to focus on relationships and also introduces key areas of family studies, such as communication, parent-child relations, family violence, and human development. From there, students will go into courses such as Community Resources, which is a nice introduction into service learning. And that's a theme throughout the program, is service learning. Also, during that second year of study, courses such as Historical Context of Families takes place, and that gives a nice solid background in the study of families. Each semester, the department encourages enrollment in classes within the department. So throughout the program, every semester, students can be part and you can enjoy your family studies courses. There are some electives available within the program, and those can be used in a variety of ways. The main thing is your advisor will work with you to pick courses that are going to be helpful to the career direction that you'd like to take with your program. 6 of those courses could also be used toward a minor if a student is interested in having that as a supplement to their program. The program does culminate in a senior seminar as well as a field experience at an approved agency. So you get a combination of coursework, service learning, and also field experience. So there's a commitment to designing coursework that prepares students for the next steps following graduation. And in summary, the program provides 1, a focus on interpersonal relationships, 2, service learning, and 3, a human development perspective throughout all of the coursework.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that overview. I really appreciate it. You mentioned a lot, you said the term service learning quite a bit. Could you elaborate on what that is for students who may not know what service learning looks like in a college setting?
Absolutely. So service learning is something that many individuals interested in family studies are going to be utilizing throughout their careers. And in fact, you start with it really a lifetime, and you can do so as a student as well. So service learning especially emphasizes things like involvement, being able to provide and connect families and individuals, for example, with resources. So that's one of the ways that the program in the field experience, it culminates in that opportunity to actually be at an agency and to provide those services. So many students will come in and say that they are interested in helping families, helping individuals, and so we promote that sense of service learning through various opportunities to start connecting that and put a path together for them to be able to achieve that.
Okay, awesome. I also wanted to ask you about maybe some job titles that former family studies students hold now. So what are some examples of careers that students who graduate with family studies may hold?
Okay, great. One of the common ones is something like a case manager, individuals that are actually able to work with clients at a social service agency. So social service agencies, that's very broad. There are over 100, easily over 100 in Southeast Texas, and of course they're available nationwide. So many of our graduates are working as case managers, and then can work themselves up if they're interested in being program directors or assistant program directors. Other things that they might be doing in terms of working with, if they're interested in going into education, they might become a cooperative extension agent. So again, they'll start with entry-level types of positions. Part of that service learning too is getting experience while you're in the program. So we encourage things like volunteering. And so there's a field experience at the end, but they can start that service learning early on as well. And then of course, those that are interested and go on to pursue a master's degree might become a marriage and family therapist or a counselor in a setting. I have graduates that have gone on to become program directors and so forth. So, you know, you can certainly move up within the agencies or other areas that students may become involved in.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you for that. I have another question. I'm not sure exactly how to answer it, but you know, as students are looking at Lamar University and looking at the different majors that we hold, you know, some students kind of lean towards their interests or things that they're curious about, you know, as they look to choose a major. You know, I was really good at math in high school, so I'm looking at things that incorporate a lot of math. What are the qualities of things like that a student may have, or as they reflect on what they're interested in, that would be a good fit to pursue family studies, if that makes sense?
So perhaps in high school, perhaps they've had classes that are somewhere along the social sciences. Maybe something like they took an intro to psychology course, or they may have had a hands-on type of course that was on something like parenting responsibilities, etc. So, you know, part of that can come in where they have recognized that they're interested in a helping profession. Maybe they would like to be able to work full-time at that, maybe through an agency. And again, some are going to be entrepreneurial and want to either become involved to open up their own family-related business. That's another side that they can go into. So oftentimes, part of that interest may come from having had exposure to some type of family course or relationship course, or their involvement in service learning. Some have really enjoyed going and volunteering, and they can discover that that can be a full-time career to be able to work in leadership positions within those agencies as well.
Yeah, that's great. It sounds like there's a lot of opportunity for networking, a lot of ways to connect with people in the community while you're in the program to really help you piece together, you know, a solid career path upon graduation and really hone in on what it is you want to do.
Absolutely. And one of the courses that students would take early on is a community resources class. And that really helps to give them knowledge of the many agencies that are out there. I provide a lot of the information. That's one of the classes that I teach, and so I provide information on agencies and also do the community discussions and service learning discussions with them. But there are some opportunities that they get to, I have some videos that have been recorded in the class where they get to hear directly from individuals that are working at those agencies, and that can be extremely inspirational as well. And you're right, that's a networking opportunity. There is a Student Council on Family Relations as well, a Texas Council on Family Relations, and a National Council on Family Relations. So encouragement to be involved at all of those levels as well. Lots of opportunities. Those that like to do research, would like to do presentations, they can gain that as well with individuals in their own community or meet those at the national level.
That's great. Awesome. Thank you so much for elaborating on that. Are there any final thoughts or nuggets of information you'd like to share?
I just would want to encourage, if anyone would like to learn more, please contact myself or the department. Lots of variety of ways, and we love to have that discussion. Again, there's a lot of one-on-one advising that occurs, so it's very personalized, and I would love to meet with new students and continue to work with the ones that are in the program.
Wonderful. That's probably one of my favorite things about Lamar University is the way that our faculty make themselves available. You know, they want our students to succeed. Most professors have you know, office hours where they encourage students to connect with them, whether in person or online, just so you can, you know, meet and you can really get to know the students and help them achieve their collegiate goals. So thank you so much for sharing all things family studies with us.
You're welcome, and thank you for the opportunity.
Sure. So now we'll transition over to Dr. Kimmons. Thank you for waiting so patiently. You are over fashion merchandising. So if you would tell us a little bit about yourself and the program, that's where we'll head next.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. This is a pleasure to come and share. I am the program director for the fashion merchandising program, and also the advisor, as is Dr. Wallet. And I came here originally to teach interior design. My degrees, I have several areas, but very quickly changed over into the retail merchandising, which is what I really wanted to do. I have a bachelor's degree from Texas Tech University in applied arts interior design, and that's it's actually, there is some relationship between retail merchandising and interior design because we have some threads and things that interconnect. Eventually, I went on to get a master's degree in clothing and textiles at Kansas State University. So Dr. Wallen and I are alumni of the same, one of the same schools anyway. And my degree there was a focus in historic costume, historic dress, and which is a particular passion of mine. And my PhD is from the University of Nebraska at Lincoln, and that was in a program. It's a multidisciplinary program called Community and Human Resources, and it's in the higher education area, and letting people people who teach in higher education, and also those who wanted to go on into administration and such. And so I have sort of a wide background there. As far as my program goes, what students come in wanting to do, they sort of narrowed, but then I hope they learn anyway how much wider this this profession is. Most of them come in saying, I want to be a buyer. Well, buying is glamorous, or it sounds glamorous, and it can be, but it's a very, very intensive job, and very busy kind of job, but it is exciting. And others want to or go into, a lot of them initially go into management, either an assistant manager in a retail store. They can work up from there into a store manager, and then there are levels above, depending on the size of the organization that they are working for. There could be a regional manager, district manager, and then there can be also corporate jobs when you've got a company like the big chains. You can go into corporate. Another thing that, let me go back with the manager, those that are in their own store, because some of them want to be entrepreneurs. They want to have their own shop. And those that are in a small store or in their own are often the buyer also. So they combine the two. Another area that students often like to look at and go into is visual merchandising. And visual merchandising is really more than just putting up displays. It is putting up displays, but you don't just go, oh, I'm going to put this, this, and this. It's a process, and it's a marketing process, and it's a promotions process and such. But it's also a creative process, and so students do enjoy that. Now those are the retail, and that's not the only ones, but those are the main retail kinds of jobs. There are also jobs in the wholesale industry, being a wholesale rep, having your own account. I mean, being an account with a particular vendor, somebody who provides merchandise to retailers. And it can be, a rep can have just one line, depending on whether it's a very large line, or they can represent multiple lines. And generally those are non-competing lines. You don't want to have two clients that are selling the same thing. It's a little bit difficult. There's sourcing that students don't usually know about. And when, retailers today, especially the large ones, are doing a lot of their own brands. They have private labels. And so in order to get those products made, they have to be sourced. Now you've got the product developer who sometimes has a merchandising background and sometimes has merchandising as well as design background. But then you have the sourcing, who goes out and finds the fabric, the notions, all the other things that go into making those products to be sent on to the manufacturer. Stylist this is sort of an individual thing, but a lot of the big companies will have stylists that have their own clients. And so you can make a lot of money by if you've got the right client and the right client list that going there. And something that students, again, don't usually think of, but like me, if you're interested in historic, you can look at museum work. It often involves more education, like a graduate degree in museum studies or such, but things like that, doing exhibit design, that's part of visual merchandising. And it's a really exciting kind of profession, I think. As to what students will be taking in this program, we start with textiles, and textiles goes all through. You have to know textiles in order to be successful in this this profession. So we learn all about the different fabrics and some notions and things, but the textiles, the materials that go into the products. They take a promotion class where they learn how we go about determining what to put on sale, how to do your sales, what other kinds of promotional activities that we can use in order to increase our sales, because that's why we're in business. There is an intro into retail merchandising, of course, that gives an overview and lets the students get an understanding of what the whole industry is like. We have an apparel analysis, in other words, how to evaluate apparel. We do go into home furnishings also. What is good merchandise? How do we know if something's good or not? And it's lots of fun. They usually enjoy that class. There is a buying class, and they catch on pretty well. There's lots of math in buying. If you don't understand math, if you can't do spreadsheets, then buying is probably not for you. There are 2 fashion history classes. We study history to know where we've been, to help us know where we're going, to understand what's happening now, and to put things in context. Social psych, which is lots of fun, as well as extremely interesting. Why do we wear what we wear? And it goes sort of beyond that. There are some hospitality classes, like a marketing class, an event management class, other electives from our department that you can choose from. It ends in a field experience, also like the family studies does, and also majors in fashion merchandising do a lot of business. It is a business program. I mean, it's a business-based program, let me put it that. And so they get a business minor. You have any questions?
I do have a question.
Okay.
I was going to ask you about, you went through some of the classes that students will take, and you mentioned one class that students really, because I was going to ask, what is one of the classes that students are the most excited to take or that they enjoy the most in their program? I know, college can be a little bit scary for some students as they transition from high school to college. And so knowing kind of what to expect and what classes are, obviously we know it's just true, some can be more fun than others,
Yes.
So I was going to ask, what do you enjoy teaching the most, or what do you see that your students enjoy learning the most in that program?
Well, of course, my favorite is the history, because that's sort of my background.
Sure.
But it's not the only one that I really enjoy. I really particularly like textiles. I don't know how many of you or whatever go out, if you go anywhere, like you go into a retail store into clothing, or going to a furniture store, I have to touch.
Mm-hmm.
I have to touch it all. If it doesn't feel right, that's not good, but I gotta touch it. Textiles are fascinating to me, and we do a lot of really interesting things. We talk about the fibers. We learn about the fibers first, and then where the fibers go, and then where into yarns, and then yarns into fabrics. We also have a loom where students can actually do some weaving. And I've discovered that it's sometimes difficult for them to understand what the process is of putting a fabric together until they sit at that loom, push those treadles, and knock that shuttle back and forth, you know, to show how it works, how we get the fabric together. The other one is like the apparel analysis, because we do a lot of stuff. It's a lot of hands-on in it. We look at things, we see things, touch them, and we figure out how they work and where they're supposed to go. So I like them all, but those are three of my favorites.
Awesome. I love it. And I'm glad you mentioned the loom. I love going into the building and seeing the loom. It's very pretty, very colorful. So I would imagine fashion students enjoy that day, that they get to sit there and work on that and understand exactly how that that functions, or how it's supposed to function. So that's great. I love that. And you mentioned hands-on experience. I know in the past there has been quite a successful study abroad program, and you know, students look forward to those types of opportunities. Can you speak to possible future study abroad opportunities that fashion merchandising students will hopefully have again one day?
Well, I do hope that it does happen again one day. Of course, we know right now there's no traveling, period, anywhere. But in the past, I have taken students to a number of places. We've been to England and to London and Scotland, and various places around in England. Taken to Ireland. So we've been through the UK. I've taken students to Paris and to the south of France. We've been to Switzerland and Germany and Italy, and all of those places have historic kinds of things that I think, if you're going to Paris, these are the things you have to see and do, okay? But then there are the special places that we go to see the fashion part of it. So it's a combination. But I've been primarily to Europe. I did years ago take, among others, we took a group to China, but it's very difficult. At least it was pretty difficult for me. In other words, but I know that there are programs at the university that do and have gone to China. But there's lots to see in Europe.
Yeah. I would think. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned Paris. You know, I know people think it's a fashion capital of the world. At least I've heard in TV shows. So I'm sure that's very exciting.
It is.
Students to get to do those types of things. Are there any last minute comments that you would like to make about the fashion merchandising program?
I do want to emphasize that we are a merchandising program and not a design program. A lot of students come and they want to do design, or at least some part of design. And when you do merchandising, you can, like I mentioned, the product development, and that is it is a design area, but it's one that you don't have the full 4-year fashion design degree in order to get into. But at Lamar, it takes a particular kind of facility to do fashion design. And we don't have that. Now, they've talked about it for the future, so we don't know what will happen in the future. But right now, we are primarily, we are merchandising. But there's a lot of exciting things you can do with merchandising.
Yeah, it sounds like you get a lot of experience in the program, and a lot of hands-on experience, which is important in today's age. Okay, very good. Well, I think that's all the questions I have. I do think this has been a successful time together. So thank you both very much, Dr. Wallet and Dr. Kimmons, for your time today. I do want to share my contact information. Let me see if I can get my share screen here. Just so that for students who are watching, so I'm going to help you. Let me try to do this. You can email me, right? So students who want to know more about the college, know more about the College of Education and Human Development and additional programs that we offer, my email is right there on the screen. I'd be happy to connect with you and also connect you with faculty members that you've heard from today or other faculty members within our college. They'd be more than happy to visit with you and share information with you. Another great resource is our website, which you see right there, lamar.edu/education. That's lamar.edu/education. Another great resource where you can go there, learn all about the college and other majors that we offer within the college. Another resource I want to leave you with is lamar.edu/visit. That's lamar.edu/visit. Another great website with great resources on ways to connect with Lamar University during this time of everyone being at home, but also in the future. That's a good place for you to go to understand how you can visit campus and get to know about all the things that Lamar University offers. So just want to thank you both again for being with us today. Thank you to anyone who has watched this and listened to this. We hope you learned a lot, and we hope you stay well and stay safe. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.